You know what time it is? It's your boy Dank Sinatra. We back. It's PolitiKan per usual. We are here at the Blue Cigar and Podcast Lounge in San Bernardino. If you ain't been here, man, tap in, man. We off hospitality. So I got to get to this first sponsor, man. We got Exotic Pops, man. So right now I'm drinking on that white cream soda. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't know, grab your Exotic Pops, man. Grab your double cups, get it in. But I got a special guest with me, man. San Bernardino's own Cam Gnarly. What's the deal, my
What's
boy?
good with you, dog? What's good with you? Thanks for having me, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know what I'm saying? Pulling up to a studio in the Dino. When you pulled up, you said this was actually a studio
Yeah,
that used to be here.
yeah. Like Loki, the first studio I ever rapped at in my life. Like my cousin called me one day. I was on the way to the mall, and he was like, "Yo," because back then I was just straight freestyling. I had never been to the studio. I was known for freestyling, and he called me and invited me over here, and it was this same exact building. And when I pulled up here, it was like a full circle moment for real. So, this is kind of crazy how shit go. But if you be around long enough, you see things shift and change. You know what I'm saying? But it was dope pulling back up here. I'm glad to be back under this circumstance.
So what year was that?
Shit, I don't even remember. Early 2010s for sure.
So that how long have you been rapping since then?
Almost, yeah. Well, I probably started taking it super serious around, I want to say like 2012, 2014. Probably around that time where I just like started getting into like, creating a buzz or getting a fan base and, having songs that people really like recognize me for. So probably around that time. But before then, like I was just around rappers and I would just be rapping. Freestyling the type.
So when I first got into this, I actually had my first studio in the 320 building downtown San Bernardino.
Okay.
And I kind of got on the scene. I kind of, I kind of grew up in the IE and LA County. So I
Yeah.
knew people out here, but I didn't know nobody out here. So when I
Yeah.
got into like the San Bernardino scene, it was a nice like buzz starting to build. And then when COVID hit, it seemed like everything slowed down and
Yeah.
stopped. And then post COVID, we haven't seen that same like hunger or that same flash that we had before COVID. So what's your thoughts on like the state of hip hop, especially like in the IE right now?
I feel like it's still, there's still a number of us, and myself included, that, try their hardest to create spaces and create that buzz or build bridges from other places to the IE and vice versa. And I really feel like, COVID definitely, it affected everybody, I feel like even as of now, like this is my first album that I've put out that I felt any semblance of like what it was like 2019, you know what I'm saying? Like before everything got wicked. So I can definitely, empathize with a lot of artists who, life hit them hard and they had to like switch up their game plan, you know what I'm saying? Or, and that affects everybody differently, emotionally, socially, financially. So I feel like IE is such a community based artist, you know what I'm saying? Like we definitely get, there's definitely artists that like get money out here, but there's a lot of like working class artists as well, people who work at a warehouse or do this or that, with I can only imagine like how that kind of shit impacted the artist who's there. He's the primary financier for all his shit and now he got to stop, because he can't he's not getting paid the same and stuff like that. So, I feel like that's definitely like impacted people, but those that really like are about it, they're still gearing up and found different ways to get their music out there.
And so I know like Viva La Boba, I think I seen you
Yeah.
perform at a couple pop ups there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Brick to the Face. They
Yeah, Brick to Your Face.
They
Yeah,
was
those are
doing
homies.
the Common Ground. I think I seen you at the Common Ground.
Yeah, I used to
too.
be at the Common Ground too. Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So where are these type of like venues or platforms now in 2024 out here?
In 2024, I can definitely say Viva La Boba is still definitely one of those spaces that supports local arts and local businesses, local creatives as a whole. That little breezeway right there, honestly, one of the best venues I've ever seen is in that underground spot right there they just opened up. So, I suggest people tap in with that area. The little gallery of San Bernardino is right there in that breezeway. Around that corner is Creative Grounds, the homie Dewan over there. It's another little artistic creative space. Like my man's like, the rooftop of the Enterprise building, they throw events up there. And that's just like San Bernardino. There's other places like in Ontario, Firewater Bar. I throw a monthly event there with my homies called Audio Dope. And, we've been doing stuff there for almost like 2 years. That's also where Thought Fest takes place.
So are you involved in Thought Fest? I went to last year's, not this year.
No, I'm
Last
not.
year, with reason, I did go to that one.
Okay, I actually went to. Yeah, I think I went to this one last year with Joel Santana. Shout out to Joel. He signed my fitted hat, my New York fitted. I was a big Dipset fan back in the day.
Me too.
Yeah, you feel me? So but I'm not involved with what was it, Thought Fest?
Yeah.
That's ran by the homie 60 East and stuff like that. I like what they do. I played there a few years back, but I plan on getting back there in this coming year, especially off this recent album. But I'm a part of my company that I throw events through is under Rad Habits Holiday. And Audio Dope is an event of like a collaboration between Brick to Your Face, which is like Noah James, Lisa J, myself with Rat Habits, and the people who are a part of that as well, and then the homie Ace Sincere who runs Bloom Flora. So we throw that together. We started it last year, and we do it every last Friday of the month. So we've had Grammy nominated producers like Nabi N, Jansport J. Actually, our first one of this year was this past Friday on Friday. And we had like Jansport J, the homie Do Noise. We had some LA people, LA Ray, who's a fire female rapper, should be spitting. Yeah, we had a lot of dope talent on there.
So speaking of Thought Fest, that's probably one of the biggest independent festivals that I've seen thrown out here. And it's very well put together, and it provides a platform for a lot of these artists, dope artists that you get to see that don't necessarily get that stage time or get that type of crowd to even come and see them. What are your thoughts on like Thought Fest, and how can we create more platforms like this and duplicate what they're doing?
Well, I feel like we have to utilize our spaces. I got to give it up to 60 East. Like, that he's turned that space of Firewater Bar into now what is called Firewater Venue. And I just feel like that, the idea of that, turning something that is right in your own backyard and building it up because I remember it was still just a bar when they were throwing Thought Fest behind it, but now it's a venue in itself. They're pouring into the idea that we can create our own spaces and throw our own festivals, because like you said, before COVID and even earlier than that, in the early 2010s, like Murs and them throwing like what was that event called? Project, or not Project Blow. It was Pay Dues at the Orange Show, like, and the semblance between those type of things is ran by artists and it's ran by other people within your community that know how to do stuff. So, tap in with your friends and y'all break bread together, get a venue, start throwing something consistently, and the people are just, going to support it. And that's why, we do Audio Dope there as well, because now it starts to become a creative hub for people to like want to get their shows off. So I suggest y'all, tap in with 60 East, or the people who throw venues and throw your own show. And that's the best way to build up any area or community or artists. Like, people just going to start throwing their shit and it becomes recognized.
So as an IE artist, do you go out and do LA venues, or are you trying to tap into that LA market, or are you focus on building your fan base out here?
I feel like I'm very intentional with expansion, and that be in my own backyard or and beyond. I take Dino everywhere, so my intention is to build bridges between IE and LA, IE and the Bay, IE and any place that my music may touch or connect with somebody. And the first thing we're going to talk about is like where we're from and the similarities. And if you apply that same mentality, what you do in your backyard, you can take that everywhere. So I have a pretty solid fan base in LA. I just did a show in Marina Del Rey yesterday. I was in Leimert Park on Tuesday. Like I do events out there, and I feel like for any artist, you could hit any spot and make it worth your while. Like, it could be a paid show, or print you some T-shirts, make some merch, have some stickers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you get your name out there. You just got to put in time, put in work.
So as far as like a label situation, I know you do these events, but as an artist, are you signed to a label? You have your own situation? Are you in like a collaborative group with these different artists? What's the situation?
I have done. I've never been signed to any label. I typically keep it very independent, but also I've had deals with like one of the most popular underground labels in LA, called Alpha Pup Records. And I released majority of like my last 3 or 4 projects off of Alpha Pup, and they were like a great distributor. So I had to deal with them for distribution as far as like metadata and things like that. And then, educated myself enough to have like my publishing and everything like that. So I keep a good 60% of like the profits of my music. And then, you work out your own deal with whoever you want to distribute your music with. It's almost basically like saying like DistroKid may be a person's distributor. That's who you work with, the company of DistroKid. But I worked with a distributor where they distribute to, your SoundCloud and all the media markets. But they also had ties with like out of the country and stuff like that in China and other stuff like that. So
have you thought about starting your own label, your own publishing company?
Sometimes I do have my own publishing company.
ASCAP and BMI yourself?
Oh yeah. I already have that. I have my own publishing company through BMI. It's Rad Habits Holiday, and that's where I release most of my work. I've yet to like take on other artists in that way. But I definitely do my best to educate as many artists as I can to create your own thing. So no matter how we split it, it'll be split between our publishing companies. You know what I mean? So I do feel like I'm interested in supporting and helping and like pushing other artists, but not necessarily in the sense of like having a label.
Now, what about like a protege? Because you've been rapping for a long time.
Yeah.
Typically, once artists get in the game, they get to a certain point, they take a youngster under their wings. And
yeah.
Have you found like you a protege, some youngster that you see yourself in?
I feel like I like a lot of artists. So like I rock with and like and support a lot of young artists or artists that I've came across or did features with and stuff like that. Like, the homie True Lee comes to mind, is an artist that I communicate with and he do his thing. The like homies like Tino, Rails and stuff like that. Like people I've, always, give a helping hand to or lend an ear or that kind of thing. So, but, I don't really not say like, I've never really looked for a protege. I was just like building with people. So if I like your music, no matter if you started yesterday or you've been doing it longer than me or as long as me, the intention is to collaborate. So, and whatever that is, maybe that's a song or I'm just trying to help you get your shit off. As far as like, and I feel like I do that a lot in the capacity of, let me help you throw a show. Let me show you how to throw a show. Let me show you how to get your shit right.
So one thing that I noticed from a lot of artists is that the energy that they bring depends on the art, the venue and the crowd that they're in front of.
Sometimes,
so if it's not the biggest venue or the biggest crowd or the most professional DJ, they get lost in the this ain't the big leagues, and they approach it like that.
Yeah.
How do you approach every venue and every performance like this is, that moment, that one that's gonna take you out of here? How do you have that discipline to approach every performance?
Well, you said it right there. You said it. It's discipline. I feel like I'm very intentional with just trying to be as professional as I can when it comes to my skill set as a performer. I'm a really good performer. I like a big part of my fan base and connecting with new artists and my ability to do shows is off the fact that performing matters to me, and it's also really fun to me. I really like doing it. So that as well, keeping it fun is important, and the way that you can have fun with it is, as well as being professional, is like treating every crowd like it's a big crowd, or honestly you could treat a little crowd like a little crowd, but you can do different things with a small crowd. You can connect with that 10 people, them 20 people directly, as opposed to, putting out your energy toward 100 and something like that. You still may only get them 20 people off the 100, but nonetheless, like treating that space as like something that is valuable and it is what you make it. So, sometimes I got a small crowd, I'm gonna talk to them differently and more directly throughout the whole set because it's only us in here. But if I got a huge crowd, I'm gonna still keep the same energy as far as how much I'm putting into the performance. So you got to be adaptable, really, but still got to have the discipline to know that these people are giving you their time. If they stand in front of you, you got them. You know what I'm saying? So do something with that.
So what about like media outlets in an empire?
Yeah.
Do you think that it's a lack of media outlets that's shedding light to these type of events and venues? Or does there need to be a bigger media presence to help push these artists? to the forefront? Do you think that's something that's
Yeah,
likely?
I mean, stuff like this is it creates the network and the mentality in the community that you can make something, or your voice matters to say what's good and what's not good, or what you like or what you don't like. But that also comes. It's a relationship between artists that are putting themselves out there, and then people who are receptive to putting the people that they're listening to up there. So I feel like there are media spaces. There are, people who throw events. There are people who have podcasts. There are people who have radio shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really, and in this day, like, you could put some shit on TikTok and all that. Like, you can do whatever you want. YouTube, Twitch, there's so many market spaces where you could just converse with people, like streaming and stuff like that. So I feel like there's so much social media. There's not a lack of media. It's just about the people who, how people are like looking at the music and like talking about it. I feel like people don't really realize how much their voice matters, so they should use it. If you like something, tell people, post about it, buy a shirt, post a thing, and then if people give you that traction, then you should create a podcast. You should create something because, like I said, if you got them in front of you, do something with that shit.
So as far as like your fan base,
Yeah.
is your fan base like your friends and family, people that you know,
Mm.
or was it like strangers that you ran into that you converted into fans?
It's a little bit of both for sure. I mean, I have a great support system, and I'm embedded within my community. So I know I got like a lot of community, or community people and fans in that way, who are other artists or work in any adjacent to creativity at all. But I definitely got a lot of fans who I've never met before, or or a lot of that, like, yo, I seen you perform at this thing, I remember you, da da da, like that type shit happens like very often. So I feel like I got a good balance of both, but I'm also doing everything that feels right for me to get both. Like, I want to make friends with my fan base so I can, give them what they want. But also I'm going to be creative as well, and I want to put my creativity out there. And if you definitely want to catch the ear of somebody who ain't never met you before. And I feel like I got a lot of that, where somebody Shazammed a song or something like that. I never spoke to them, or they just that situation, you in the car, does somebody play the shit, they like it, they Shazam it, that kind of thing. Like, I've definitely got a lot of passerby fans who they're not gonna buy nothing, they're not gonna buy a shirt or nothing like that, but they gonna add me to their playlist or some shit like that. That happens a lot.
So as far as like merch, what do you have, like a brand, or do you make merch specific to the event that you're performing at?
As of late, before, I would just make merch specific to the event I was doing, or whatever album I'm pushing, and or just like about what my branding is as an artist. But I'm actually going to start my own brand this year. It's called Very Positive, or Very Positive Brand, and it's really taking like a lot of the themes of my music and just my personality and my culture and community, and putting it in into a title form. My music has always been about positivity. It's always been about posi waves and stuff. But especially after COVID, I just like looked at it like no need to abbreviate nothing. Like, we just gonna keep it very positive, and talk about what that mentality means to me.
So as far as that, like, what genre would you say your music is?
I mean, it's hip hop. I make hip hop for sure.
Like rap music?
Yeah, rap music. I'm a rapper, but I also make a lot of melody driven music, harmony driven music. I sing on my work as well a lot. So I feel like I'm definitely a hip hop artist and a rapper and a singer and a songwriter. So my genre is for sure is like hip hop.
So that you said you recorded your first rap song ever in this building.
Yeah, my first time ever in the studio was in this building, in this space, in these walls.
So what song was that? Like,
oh, that song never came out. You know what I'm saying? That song never came out. But what ended up happening, and I talk about it on my first album, or my homie, rather, on the beginning of the first track called Dino USA, he talks about how, that we pulled up to the Meadowbrooks because when SoCal Studio moved out of here, me and the homie INF and Patty Stone and a lot of the homies, homie Flexo, who got the plug, or at the plug and Waterman, they took that studio into the Meadowbrooks. So that was the place where I really started making music and recording all the time. But this was the first studio space I had ever been in. But the second one was right there off of 2nd Street at the Meadowbrooks. And that was really that's where I spent and did so many of my first songs.
So for people that's not familiar with the area, what the Meadow Brooks is,
Oh yeah,
can you tell them?
Meadowbrooks is
where that is?
it's right there off Second Street. It's different over there. It's a lot of different people, special people. It's a project in that way. It's a Section 8 in that way. And it's not a light place. You know what I'm saying? Like so many of my earlier experiences happening at the same time in my music, like learning how to get into music. I was around like a lot of street shit, hood shit, and I feel like a lot of that crafted why I make the kind of music that I make, but why I'm able to do it the way that I do it is because I came from coming up around there being 17, 18, 19, being in that area. But I was always that way. I'm from the North End, but like you said, I spent my family's from LA originally. I spent a lot of time off of like Crenshaw, Adams, Harcourt, South Central area. And, my dad's the youngest of 10, so I got a lot of family, a lot of different people and experiences around me. So when we came out to the Dino originally, I was going to school in Fontana. What I'm saying is I grew up in a lot of different places and around a lot of different people. Some affiliated, some not affiliated, some on and off of drugs, some people who are doctors and lawyers, and some people who start businesses or work within the community organizations and stuff. So being in the Meadowbrooks was not like a shock to me, but it was just more of the same in that way. But it just had music at the same time, like us just being in there. And that was probably some of my craziest days, for real.
So what did that music sound like that you were making back then compared to
Oh man, it was
music you making today?
it was a little I feel like it was some of the same kind of stuff. Always experimental. I feel like the music that I was making back then was still hip hop. It was experimental. I was really some of my first stuff was put up in a lot of the blog era stuff, like the Two Dope Boys and the, Hot New Hip Hops and all that kind of stuff. So I was getting a lot of those kind of looks early, Ill Roots and stuff like that. So, my music was sounding like what it was sounding, early, Cool Kids type shit, or, the Dom Kennedy stuff, or, Tehran A. Omari and the Pac Dibs and that kind of stuff. So that's some of my music sounded like that, but also had a lot of like electronic shit to it. Remember how it was in the early 2000s, we were early 2010s rather, we were making a lot of electronic music shit too. So it was kind of a mixture of that.
Now, one thing that platforms like that, like All Hip Hop and
Yeah.
the Source,
Yeah.
Source had the 5 mics.
Yeah.
Album, they used to rate your album.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got 2 mics, sometimes you got 5 mics.
That's
sometimes
true.
you got 3.5. And
Honestly, you'd want to get in there just to have them judge it. You know what I'm saying?
Now, we got DeJean Paul. He does that LA rap report card.
Yeah.
Last year, he did an IE rap report card. Were you on it?
No, I was not on it, but about it. No, I wasn't on it, actually.
Did you hear about it?
Yeah, I definitely heard about it. I had a lot of homies who were actually on it.
Okay, what was your thoughts on that report card?
I like anything that creates dialogue for artists. My thoughts on the report card, I feel like are insignificant. I like that it creates a space for people to talk about the artists that are on there. And I had a lot of homies that are on there. But also, it's also set to a certain type of look as well. It's Los Angeles, and that it's a certain sensationalism that comes to the Hollywood in that way, and also the certain type of music that you make that may be incorporated into that space as well. So, I had a lot of homies on there, so many of the people on there, I got music with them, so it really didn't matter to me. I looked at it like, oh, that's dope. Like, look at us. You know what I'm saying? We up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do you think is needed for the IE to take that next step? Because there's so much talent out here that's unheard of, that if one person breaks out here, just like Atlanta, just like Detroit, just like these other places where when one artist break out, then you have multiple artists that break out with them because people start to pay attention to the area.
Yeah.
What do you think is necessary for the IE to take that next level and be that next hub in hip hop?
I think it comes with a lot of connection between a lot of artists, and maximizing your emotion that you have and aligning that with other people and collaborating with them, so you create these moments. I feel like you can name one artist, and then as you think about their come up, you can name 5, 10 branches of that, of this sound. When you think of Ice Cube, you can think of 5 other installments of that type of creativity, and creates a network. That's how you get the Mac 10s. That's how you get the Dub C's. You know what I'm saying? If you think of Kendrick in the early days, you can think of Pac Div, Dom Kennedy, Cool Kids, Big Sean, like all those networks. Is from the Currencies and the Larry Junes or the Wiz Khalifa's, like those artists spend a lot of time collaborating with each other, and it creates a world surrounding them. So I feel like that's probably the best way to do that. You gotta give people something to believe in, and when you do that, you create that with a lot of different characters. It's not just about you; it's about you building yourself up for show. You got to make something of yourself, but then you got to be aligned with other people who are on that same shit. I saw this tweet the other day. Nigga said, "Would you rather be a broke boss or a rich teammate?" Type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that concept is really like what it's on. Like you got to be able to team up with other people so we can all get it together.
See, but back then, a lot of the music wasn't bounced out, and they wasn't sending stems everywhere.
Yeah.
And people was collaborating in the studio, and everybody didn't have home studios where they're recording out the house or they're recording on the road. So these studios, these collaborations, these vibes were created in a studio atmosphere. You had A&Rs in there that's, critiquing you and telling you, yes, take this out, do this, do that. You had different levels of the way. Now niggas just make a song. You got a bunch of yes men that tell you your shit hot because they want to hitch their wagon to you.
True.
And you bounce this shit out and you send it to another nigga and he just send it back. Half the time you already paid the nigga for the feature, or the business is done, and he ain't even gave you the product.
Yeah.
So given the way that things are operating, it's hard to recreate something when you don't have all these artists in the studios bouncing off of each other. And another thing about that is everybody that was in the studio, you all added crealy. So splits, you used to get credits just for being in the studio.
True, it's true.
Now niggas don't want to give credits to nobody for nothing.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on that? How do you deal with splits? How do you deal with the business side of things when you do like collaborations?
I mean, I like to keep it really like organic with the connections because of what you're describing right there. Like some things could be like hella transactional, and it really doesn't make what you're putting into it worth it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. You got to create something. It's not even about recreating something. You could be inspired by the connectivity of a bunch of artists, but like sometimes that shit is really rooted in people being friends and working with each other and connecting with each other. But if you just like you said, trying to hit your wagon to somebody's shit, like, when it's time to speed up, you're going to be the first thing to fall off. You know what I'm saying? So there's no need to think like that. You need to put money in to make something that's durable and it's going to last a long time together. And I feel like if you do it transactionally, it makes it, not as impactful or don't last as long. So that's how I navigate it. But also, you got to be wise about that shit. If you are going to be transactional, like, pick something right, you know what I'm saying? Like, work with the right people and make it worth it. Make a song, email the song, however you got to do the song, do the video together, post about that shit. Like, it got to be a team effort, you know what I mean? So if you don't do that, then you run into that kind of shit where you wasting your money or you just taking niggas' money.
Have you paid for features?
Yeah, I've paid for features before. Yeah, definitely.
So what makes you want to pay an artist for him to be on your track?
I value their time and they work, and I pay their price because I've wanted people to pay my price. But as well, once you do that, it's break bread with people. Like we're going into technically when we do a song, if we're businessmen, we're going into business together on this particular song. That could be the people in the room. That could be the people at the video shoot. That could be the people, who produced it. There's a lot of teammates that, and I feel like if you're not looking at it like that, your producer's on the team with you, your engineer's on the team with you, wherever you shot the video is out on the team with you, because you're all getting glorified. And it be the song or the video or whatever, like there's all ways that everybody can come up together if they play a part. So, there are people that I paid the verse for because I like their art. I'm a big fan of their work. Like I'll pay that because that shit hard, of course. Otherwise, why am I paying it if I don't think if it's worth it? Like I don't want to have buyer's remorse or some shit like that when I get a verse like, I wish I didn't pay this shit. Like I pay it because I respect the artist, and artists pay me because they respect me as well. So
have you ever had an artist feature on your song and they come harder than you and you got to rewrite your verse? Like, oh, nah, I thought I did my shit, but he came too hard. I got to double back and retool my shit.
No, that's never happened. I've actually never ever been in that situation before. There's other people's verses that I may like more than mine, but I always feel comfortable and confident in the kind of song that we made or what I did, vocally or verse wise or writing wise. Like, but no, that ain't never happened to me.
So how did you get into rapping? What made you said you were freestyling.
Yeah.
You just turned on the beat and started freestyling? What was the thing that made you start freestyling and rapping?
Shit, like, I used to be freestyling. When I first started freestyling, I was just like sports and shit, being in the back of the football bus type shit. Niggas just start rapping or doing that kind of thing. And then I just got into, I'm black, nigga. Like, hip hop is my culture. So, like, the ways that I express myself have always been musically or artistically. And my family, like I said, my pop's the youngest of 10. Niggas grew up in the church. We singing hymns around the table, all my cousins and stuff like that. Like, music is second nature to me. I went to a performing arts elementary school. Like, I just been lucky enough to always had music around me or creativity around me. So it kind of comes second nature. I've been doing it like my whole life. So, and then as you do that, you find shit that you like or hear rappers that I like, and I just started doing that shit myself. I feel like I heard so many songs that I liked. I was like, I got to start making my own.
So as far as beats, like, how do you go about getting your beats? Who you get your beats from? Do you work with certain producers all the time? Do you go to a certain guy when you want a certain sound? Or do you get like beat packs from people?
All of that. All of those things. I get beat packs from certain people. I'll tap in with a producer if I like their sound, if I want to like get into that sound. But also, like I said, I'm a part of a community of creatives, so it's never a shortage of producers if I'm, if I'm doing my job or as a rapper, as an artist, I can put up a tweet type shit and niggas will send me some shit, and if I like it, I'll use it. If I don't, I don't. And also there's other producers that I follow and I like their work and I want to keep working with them. I've done a lot of stuff with like homies like A Brook, or I got joints with like Nabien, or songs with like more lesser known producers, but still getting like a really good product. But on this last album, I feel like I did a lot of producers that are just from the Inland Empire. Audio King, Oh Gosh the Oldest, Nabien, Ascend Beats. Who else? Like
Audio King,
that's my dog. Yeah, we got a lot of songs together.
If y'all don't know Audio King, what he did that OT Genesis?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I look like bae.
Yeah, he works with Price Tag a lot too. Yeah, he's.
You know what I'm saying? Audio Push, they had a nice run. Where Octane?
Yeah.
I ain't heard nothing from Octane.
I follow bro on IG. I seen him. He came to our 909 day. With the event that we throw. We throw. We trying to make our own hood holiday, so we always throw an event on 909 as 909 day. And but yeah, I seen him up there. I think I seen him at Thought Fest too. But he's still active. You just got to tap in with him. But Price Tag's still super active too. They both doing that shit.
Sir. So like the Surf Club, that's who they with, Surf Club?
I don't know if they with them, but I know of Surf Club for sure. That's Hit Boy's imprint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you tapped in with Hit Boy? Have you ever worked with him or
I know I never worked with him, but he's definitely tapped in with my music, or we have people between us that have tapped in with each other, invited us to video shoots and that kind of thing. Though.
So have you seen what he's doing with his father?
Yeah.
Got out of prison. Father, son, he produced his whole album.
Yeah.
And he double up and did a second album, him and Game, with the Paisley Dreams. What's your thoughts on Hit Boy? He was Grammy nominated for Producer of the Year without producing any of these, A-list or top tier artists, just producing himself and his father. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on like the?
I love that, bro. I love that. I feel like there's so many things that so many ways you can look at, and it's all a positive. It's just I've never even known a producer to or in rap history ever to make some shit with his dad and that shit go crazy. And then even outside of that, Hit Boy was on a crazy run with Nas before that shit. Like all those albums that they were doing together, all the King Diseases albums, like. That shit crazy. Hit Boy be doing dope shit with like Dom Kennedy and the $500,000. Like he's one of those people that he always bigs up the Inland Empire. He always bigs up himself. At like what he represents for the IE, in his own music, he's a hell of a rapper in my opinion too. He's like one of my favorites. So I love to see that shit. It's fire. It makes it easy for a lot of us if you own your shit.
So you seen the Grammys incorporated a lot of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, you got Killer Mike winning Grammys.
Yeah.
You know, they honoring Jay-Z. You know, what's your thoughts on the Grammys finally coming around and embracing hip hop for the powerhouse that it is in the industry?
I feel like the Grammy still does like a lot of weird shit in relationship to hip hop. They didn't even show Killer Mike shit on TV, which is very similar to like, you know, if you know the history of the first time hip hop was ever on the Grammys, it wasn't aired, and the community, the artists at that time boycotted and stuff like that. But I feel like it's a really dope win for underground hip hop too, because I feel like Killer Mike is you know, he's been in the game for almost like 20 years, the Dungeon Family shit and all that. So I like the Michael album. It was really hard, like, but, or not even a but, not so much a but additionally, what makes it really dope is because it shows a lot of artists that it doesn't matter what your age is or whatever, as far as if you're really about it and you have something to offer, you'll reap rewards in some time. It doesn't have to be the Grammys in itself, but just, you know, like the validation that what you're doing is fire, and you can, you know, niggas can make their own award shows.
So what do you think about like all this female rap? So we got a lot of females that are top artists in the game right now, but yet the West Coast is yet to break a female out.
I wouldn't say they didn't do that.
What West Coast female artist is breaking?
Doja Cat.
Is she West Coast though?
Yeah, she's from California. I feel like when people say West Coast, there's like this concept that comes to mind, and you think of Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and gangster rap and that kind of context. Like you want that kind of, you know, you want a girl representation of something like that. And I feel like that's not happening because that kind of music is a male driven concept. But I feel like there are a lot of women rappers that are really hard, and they're from California, and Doja Cat's one of those people. Like I said, she used to be at LeBert Park and doing bananas and stuff like that. Like she really came up out of, you know, and she dropped that like Bitch I'm a Cow song on the internet and did that, and she just went up. But she's a real rapper. She can really spit, and she holds her own, and she's from California. Like the way I look at it, and she's from LA. Like, so that doesn't that make her West Coast? So yeah, I think she.
So what female artist from the West Coast do you say is next up? If you had to name one, which one would you
next
say
up?
That you got your eyes on, that you listen to?
I can't even. I definitely can't say, like, or not that I can't say. I don't know as far as like next up, but I can definitely name like a few rappers, like female rappers from LA that are dope. Like
who?
Like who I like LA Ray, like I named. The homegirl Ya Raj, really dope. She's from San Bernardino too, and she does her shit as well. Who else from LA? This girl named Asia is hard. I'm trying to think of people, because you know people move to LA type shit, like they live in LA. But who else is dope? Who else is hard? Like the homegirl, shit, like Lexi the Hooligan from out here in San Bernardino. Who else? Some like the homegirl Vel 9 is really hard too. She from LA area. I've toured with her before. She's really dope. She be rapping with like some Griselda niggas too. Like yeah, a lot of girls.
What is your thoughts on these women rapping just as aggressive as men rap? They're talking about guns and switches and killing niggas, and the subject matter used to be different. Now it seems like the men and the women are talking about the same shit on these songs. What are your thoughts on these women rapping gangster?
I feel like we're all products of our environment. If we listen to gangster rap and you live a gangster life, then you may be able to rap and make gangster rap. So I feel like there's not necessarily like any gender norms that are required for somebody to be a rapper. And also, if she could really talk it like that, then she gonna talk it like that. And I met a lot of women who were really like that, and they weren't rappers, but they understood that shit when niggas is talking, or you know what niggas may be going through if they live in that type of life. So it's only a matter of time if you do it long enough that you're gonna get somebody who talks that same talk. And if it's a woman, shit even better.
So what's your plans for the rest of 2024 as far as musically?
I'm still pushing my North and Gnarly album. We got some more visuals coming out in March, like 2 more visuals coming out in March. Still running. We're gonna be running audio dope all throughout the year. I'll be performing a lot more. I'll be hitting the road pretty soon and putting together a little tour around springtime. And then even outside of that, just collaborating with more people, collaborating with more artists, and just trying to build community wherever I go for real. Like booking a lot of shows and getting into new things too. I started getting into new hobbies of like DJing and shit like that. So, I'll be putting myself out there in different ways and finding new ways to just have fun with this shit. And I'm having fun with that. It's really cool.
So if it was one track, if somebody never heard Cam Gnarly before, and there was that staple track that will let them know who you are as an artist, what would be that one track?
Man, I think you should listen to Levitate. Levitate is one of those ones. It's probably one of my older songs, but I look at it like when I play that song, it's very rare that it don't connect with someone. And I say that not because I forcing it on people, like it's a fan favorite, like, and it's one of those ones that it don't matter when I do it, like people be like, I love Levitate or I love this one. So I would definitely say that's one of those ones that there's a lot of what I'm about and what my music is about and the different things that I may talk about is definitely in that song.
All right, so as we wrap it up, man, tell everybody where they could find you on social media, and tell them where they could find all your music on the DSPs.
Oh yeah, social media is all Cam Gnarly, CamGnarly. Got my website as well, camgnarly.com, for like merch and upcoming shows. You can join my mailing list if you want to pull up. If you're local to the Inland Empire, I'm always posting events and things as well that are going on locally and abroad, and then all on all DSPs as well. Same name. I'm in your phone right now. I'm in your pocket right now. Just search it up and you can listen to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So you heard the man. It's been another edition of PolitiKan per usual. We got
per
Cam
usual. Thank you
Gnarly,
for having me, man. Appreciate you.
Pulling
You
up,
asked some
talking that
solid ass questions. You was shooting them. That's
I
it.
appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
fire.
I do my homework. I don't just
That's
be out
right.
here just freestyling. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. I appreciate that.
I got a journalist background.
Okay,
so it's like I have to vet anything before I do it, or I won't do it. I think that's the difference between like media and content.
Mm-hmm.
Content, you don't have to do any homework. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying, know what you're talking about. You just talking.
Correct.
You know, I'm a media outlet, PolitiKan. We do our homework, and we want to provide a solid platform for artists. We don't want to just bring you on here and shoot the shit and talk about nothing.
I appreciate
we want
that.
to talk about you as an artist and what you got going, because a lot of the content, it may get the views, but it does nothing for you as an artist as far as letting them know who you are as an artist, or, helping you build a fan base around, your music. So we do media over here, not content. No hate to the content creators, but you know what I'm saying? You stand for something or you fall for anything, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But on the way out, man, I just got to say, I don't know what you going to do with your life, but I'm going to get to it, man. PolitiKan.
Yes, sir. Ski, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate it.
Good combo.
Solid.